Well, it's day 2 here at the Brickyard. We've got Indy cars, we've got Indy NXT. Let's get into it. So one of the great stories going into this weekend was actually livery related, and it's Chip Ganassi Racing and Marcus Armstrong. They have a new partnership with the IU Cancer Center. And ordinarily, you know, these kind of things happen all the time. A lot of times it's a charitable donation from another interested party that gets these sort of initiatives onto race cars. And this is a similar situation here. But not only that, this livery has special meaning for the driver, Marcus Armstrong, because he has a friend who, believe it or not, received a cancer diagnosis right before the unveiling of this livery. And it's an incredible story, and one that Marcus tells much better than I could.
I felt it necessary to give her a call. By coincidence, we are obviously running the IU Comprehensive Cancer Center livery. So I called her and she said, her name is Kat. She'd just been diagnosed with liver cancer, stage 4, so severe. She was extraordinarily positive about the situation. It was unbelievable, to be fair. She answered the phone, she was buzzy, she had a lot of energy, enthusiastic, and she said a lot of inspiring things. I won't go into detail, but long story short, she was extremely positive about the situation. She mentioned that she wasn't going to go until she'd seen me win an IndyCar race, quote, which was very special, which in many ways makes me want to lose every single race, which is no. And jokes aside, she was really inspiring, and I hope that we can give her recognition throughout the weekend alongside this amazing organization.
Well, that just gets to the point of it, right? How important is this partnership personally to you, and just how important is that to represent here at the IndyGP?
It's fitting to be doing it here in Indianapolis. It's obviously an Indianapolis-based research center. It's also the circuit that I've already raced at, so it's the first time that I'll be returning to a circuit here in America, which is somewhat comforting for me because I'm not having to learn everything from ground zero again. So I feel like this is the place to do it and to get a good result. It would be extraordinarily special to get a result here with this foundation, this livery, and for the cause, of course. We are trying to accelerate cancer research, and winning this weekend would be the ideal thing to do.
So the big news story of the day is the Meyer Shank Racing announcement. We now know officially that Helio Castroneves will be an Indy 500 only driver in 2024, at least for the IndyCar side. There's still some talk about whether or not he'll be in sports cars, but there's a lot of question marks about Meyer Shank Racing and their involvement in sports cars going forward. The most likely scenario is actually that they're going to leave Honda, but we'll have to wait and see how that works on the sports car side of things. On the IndyCar side, while Helio Castroneves will no longer be in the driver's seat full-time, he is going to become an Indy 500 only driver. And replacing him is Tom Blomqvist, who has been in the IMSA sports car series for Meyer Shank Racing and has performed really well, impressed a lot of people. Obviously, he made that start at Toronto, but he only got one corner. Here's what the newest IndyCar driver had to say. Well, I would say welcome to IndyCar, but you did get one corner at Toronto. So let's.
I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that counts, man.
So I guess the first question I'll ask is there any opportunity that you'll get in the car later this year, either at a race? Obviously, there's some question about Simon Pagenaud's availability and whether or not he'll be back this year. So is there a chance you could run another race this year, or will there be some testing opportunities? What's the deal with that?
I'm not sure in terms of races. Obviously, you know, the priority is to get, you know, Simon and fit and ready. And obviously there's, you know, everyone's running out of time there. You know, I still got my IMSA races. I've got some WEC World Endurance Championship races to do this year. But yeah, I will be getting out in the IndyCar. I think my first go will be maybe Texas on the ovals. So yeah, straight into the deep end. So yeah, I've got some of that coming up towards the end of the year. I don't know what's happening in terms of off-season testing. Obviously, there's a new powertrain being developed, so maybe that will give me some opportunities. Who knows? But for now, yeah, it'll be oval test. Will be my first outing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Your new boss, Elio Castroneves, I think is going to be able to help you a lot because he did a lot of bouncing back between the Acura and the IndyCar, actually ran a partial season and a full season in IMSA at one point. What has that transition been like for you? I know you've only gotten limited laps so far in the IndyCar, but what are the differences between the GTP car and the IndyCar?
I mean, they're so different. The IndyCar is a big, brutal, single-seater. In terms of horsepower, there's not really much difference. The GTP's a really quick car now in terms of the straight line performance, acceleration. But I mean, yeah, the cars, in terms of physicality, obviously the IndyCar is a lot more raw. It's a lot more physical to drive. No power steering. The tires are obviously very different. The cars are completely different. It's like, it's not really comparable. But at the end of the day, it is a race car. You do have to go around the corner as fast as possible. But yeah, these things are just a little more old, quite old school, actually, very old school, even on the engineering side of things. But yeah, you have to really get up on the wheel and manhandle them.
So the big thing, it is called the IndyCar series, right? So I imagine that you're looking forward to the Indianapolis 500. Are there any other races that are not congruent with IMSA that you're looking forward to running in an IndyCar?
I think I'm looking forward to getting some of I've heard so many good things about Nashville. I think I've never been to Nashville. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the big one, this event. Everyone's told me it's incredible. I've never even been to an Indy 500, so my first one will be the one I'm competing in, which sounds probably pretty wild to a lot of people. I've watched it on years since I was so little, since I was 6 years old. So. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and for a while I never thought I'd be here. And it wasn't since I joined MSR that this became a realistic goal or realistic opportunity. So yeah, huge thanks to them.
Another huge story, part of this anyway, is that Elio Castroneves is now a minority owner in Meyer Shank Racing. The team owner, partly owner-driver, Elio Castroneves, brings a massive boon to this team. We talked to team owner Jim Meyer about not only Elio, but also about the expansion to 3 cars of the Indianapolis 500. Because there's always talk about engines. How did they get Honda to give them a third one? So you mentioned it a couple times in the press conference, but I want you to emphasize how important Elio Castroneves is joining your ownership group on this team.
Oh, I think, when you think about Elio and a 4-time winner, you think about how many races he's won in IndyCar, and then you watch him in person, as we've been able to do the last 2 years. It's just clear to us that we want him to have a role going forward. And he's just magic. I don't know if you saw him on the Today Show earlier this year, as part of the month of May. He's just very, very good. I not only think it's great for Meyer Shank, I think it's great for IndyCar that Elio is going to be an active part of the sport for a long, long time.
So 3 cars at the Indianapolis.
I'll make one other point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think Elio will be a lot better teacher when he's not competing full time. I think he'll be able to help our other 2 drivers quite a bit when he's actually not racing against them. Okay, so we think there's some miles there too.
3 cars at the Indianapolis 500. We know in the past, and so many teams struggle with this, getting extra engines. You get 3 for the Indy 500. How difficult was that to finagle Honda to give you an extra engine, or was it difficult with Elio being attached to it?
Well, I mean, engines are always, right now, particularly as we're making the transition to new technology, going to be a short-term issue, right? We have a great relationship with HPD and a great as long as I've been in this sport, it's been with HPD, and we were able to work it out. They were very supportive.
There was IndyCar today, and we have Graham Rahal on the pole, spoiler alert. But I feel like it's not my place to talk about good things for Graham Rahal. Kyle, take it away.
Thank you, David. Yeah, today was very therapeutic, if you can say. After May, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cash money. Qualifying as a whole today, because I'm not just going to sit here and talk about Graham Rahal. We're actually going to talk about qualifying. As a whole, the big story is obviously Devlin DeFrancesco. I mean, making the Fast Six. There's been times this year, if you listen to our podcast, I have shouted him out before saying, man, there's a chance that he'll make it to the second round and be in the top 12. But I mean, to make it to the Fast Six, that's awesome. Definitely a long time coming for Devlin. But I mean, the other big story, Joseph Newgarden didn't make it through. Scott Dixon didn't make it through. Really, the only Ganassi I believe that made it through was Alex Palou.
Will Power didn't make it.
Will Power didn't make it. Thank you, David. This is my first time doing this. Will Power didn't make it. Art Erickson didn't make it. I mean, so many big names. Thank you. So many big names that you expect to be in the Fast Six just automatically. When we look at the groups, I mean, you usually expect, oh yeah, there's the easy six. Not today. Today was just mixed up, jumbled up, and I think you need that for this race, for the second Grand Prix. The oops, it's all Indy Road Course Grand Prix. I mean, that should make it fun tomorrow. So let's go through the starting lineup for tomorrow. Graham Rahal on the pole with Christian Lundgaard behind a Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan front row. We have Alexander Rossi starting third, Pato O'Ward in fourth, Devlin DeFrancesco in fifth. Once again, just a great story with Devlin. Roma Grosjean starting sixth.
I'm not doing graphics for this. We're just filming Kyle.
Oh my gosh. Marcus Armstrong in seventh. Jack Harvey starting eighth. Great spot for him. We got Alex Palou in ninth. Felix Rosenquist starting 10th. Scott McLaughlin in 11th. Great qualifying for Elio Castroneves in 12th. Colton Herta did not make it into the second round, but he will be 13th. Linus Lundqvist almost had round two appearances in a row, but he will start 14th. Just missed it. Kyle Kirkwood, last week's winner, starting 15th. Scott Dixon, a disappointing 16th. Will Power, 17th. Marcus Ericsson, 18th. And Joseph Newgarden, 19th. A lot of big names starting together there. Rinus VeeKay, he had a handful today. This car was all over the place, even in the final practice. He will roll off 20th. Santucci, starting 21st tomorrow. Ryan Hunter-Reay in 22nd. Little Dave Malukas in 23rd. Augustine Canapino starting 24th. Stingray Rob 25th. Callum Ilott 26th. And Benjamin Peterson in 27th. David makes that look a lot easier, and thank you for the fantastic camera work, David. But Graham Ray on the pole. Yeah, he doesn't want to edit that. He's getting lazy. We need to put him in his place. But yeah, Graham Ray on the pole. I'm very happy about that. That's going to be fun. I'm not going to be here tomorrow to witness it, though. So if Graham Rahal wins and I'm not here for it, you all know that now. I'm going to be at the Knoxville Nationals, still having fun. But I mean, if Graham Rahal wins this and I'm not here, it must be a sign. I guess I should just find a new profession if that happens and just stay the hell away. So back to you, David.
But I do have to say, one of the great stories of qualifying was Devlin DeFrancesco, and we got an interview with him. So your pace has been there pretty much since Mid-Ohio. You've been thereabouts, right with your teammates, and now your first Fast Six. How good does it feel to be to have this accomplishment?
Man, it's such a weight off my shoulders. It's been a real tough season for the 29 team for various different reasons, but really looking forward to nailing tomorrow, a good result, points in the bag, and just ending this season on a high. This team deserves it, I deserve it, we deserve it, my sponsors deserve it. Everyone has supported me. I have to thank absolutely everybody, and all the hate that I get, it fuels me. So
where did that pace come from? Was it the hate fueled? Was it just like, I got to prove everybody wrong?
I think maybe a small part of it, yes. But no, we rolled off with an amazing car. And, just keeping the things simple and just nailing the big things, and the little things came as well. Every little thing we needed there just came together, and we just need more performances like that.
The race, it's going to be tough. We know this is a strategy race, generally speaking. What are your chances in this thing?
Who knows? I think we look very strong on blacks. That's quite encouraging. Every time we had blacks on, whether it was in round 2 or group or round 1, we were very strong. So I don't know if it's going to be a black or red race yet. but I think we look good on both compounds.
And so, as I promised, we're going to talk some Indy NXT today. And obviously, they had a standalone race today. It was a very exciting affair with Hunter McElrea doing battle with his Andretti Autosport teammates. We talked to Hunter after his first win of the year. Oh, he's rolling. Hello.
Hello, mate.
Race winner, Hunter McElrea. Look at that beautiful trophy.
Shiny little number. Yeah. It's not a bad looking piece, is it?
No, not at all. All right, so tell us how you won it, because it was a battle with your two teammates, and boy, oh boy, you were under assault.
Yeah, that was a long race. I put it on pole by almost 4/10, so I'm like, yeah, nice, this is going to be a pretty smooth race. And then the first, Louis was kind of just sitting in my toe. I'm like, all right, I'll just manage that. We started battling really hard. And then, to be honest, I'm not sure if he was just, had more button or what, but he was a bit stronger than me. I was like, okay, he's going to get me here. I'm going to just have to try and put up a fight. And then I felt contact and he was gone. I'm like, oh, he's gone. Okay, this will be straightforward. And I don't know what happened, because as soon as I had contact, I was definitely getting some rear tire deg pretty bad, but as soon as the contact happened, it was like I fell off a cliff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll probably hold on here. I've got a nice gap. And then my engineer was telling me, I was basically getting caught a second a lap like this. And I think a lot of that was they were full pushed past both straights, and me and Louis burned all ours up. But yeah, I just can't believe I won here, man. I'm so happy to win here. I've been trying to win an Indy for so long. I love this place. It's the first place I came when I tested here in 2017. I've got second here literally 4 or 5 times, not exaggerating. I qualified second, I can't even count. So to finally get the pole win here is just, I know it's not the 500, but it's really important for me, obviously, to be winning for my career, and just to win at Indy is insane. So I'm so happy, and to just finally get that monkey on my back, man, feels good.
And we talked about yesterday the lost interview that I didn't hit the record button on.
This guy, man. We had a great interview, talked about the meaning of life, everything, and then, yeah, it never happened. So.
We solved all the world's problems, but one of those is how you could win the championship, and you mentioned IndyCar-style points. Explain that to the viewers, because why was it so important for you to win this race championship-wise today?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I'll ask the question first, but basically, IndyCar points, winning means you get the chocolates, which I did, luckily, today. So I don't know where Christian finished, but it must have not been in the top 5, because I over halved the gap in one race. And he didn't have a bad race. We have 19 cars. He got 6th, which is a 6th is a good result. Not a good result, but it's not a bad, horrible result. But I took 36 points out of him.
I think you're 33 better.
So I'm 30. I went from 59. Actually, I'm not good at math. 20. I don't know. 26 points out of him, which is huge. So it puts me right. Obviously, he's still got a nice little lead, but it's just halved it pretty much. So if I do that again, I'll be looking good. But just to be in the fight, it's been a lot of struggles at times this year, but we've just kept pushing, and yeah, it feels good, mate.
So, jumbled up field, mixed up field for tomorrow's IndyCar race, ahead of an Xfinity race, which will also take place tomorrow. But of course, there's no more track time in NASCAR. That's just not a thing. So we have no expectation or understanding of what the heck's going to happen with that. So stay tuned, I guess. But I would love to see a different winner. I'd love to see a Graham Rahal or a Christian Lundgaard, although he won at Toronto, a different winner here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A Devlin DeFrancesco could be interesting, but I can't stop kind of coming to the conclusion that an Alex Palou or someone else of that ilk will end up winning this race. A unique race in which no Ganassi and no Penske cars reached the Fast Six. Can't even remember the last time that happened. The last time Graham Rahal was on the pole was in 2017 at Detroit, a race that he won. So, back home again in Indiana. It's always good to be here. Thank you guys so much for watching. More Brickyard coverage to come. We'll see you in the next video.